Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to a virtual presentation. Today, we'll walk you through important aspects of the official community plan, also known as an OCP, for both areas L and P. Throughout October, we hosted 7 in-person events in different communities throughout both areas L and P. We heard great feedback about what is important in your region and key areas of concern and opportunity. Your feedback helps us understand what you want to see or not see in your community and helps us update the OCP to reflect your priorities. If you were able to attend an event, thank you for your valuable input. If you were unable to attend these sessions, this recording will go through what an OCP is, how it affects you, and ways to get involved. At our in-person sessions, we ask attendees a number of important questions where we want to get feedback. At the end of this presentation, we'll be asking you the same questions. You're welcome to email in your feedback to any of these questions by emailing ocp@tnrd.ca or complete our online survey. Our survey is available until December 31st, and you'll be able to find the link online at www.tnrd.ca. And to kick us off, I'm going to hand it over to Dan Wallace, our lead planner on the project.
Thank you, Amy. Good day and welcome to our recorded presentation for the new official community plan for electoral areas L and P. This is the same presentation delivered at our October 2024 in-person community meetings held at various locations in your neighborhoods. As Amy mentioned, my name is Dan Wallace and I'm the senior planner for the TNRD, having now been your community planner here at the office for just over 30 years. Although I'll be the lead planner, writer, and orator for this long-range planning project, I can say that the whole TNRD planning team is really excited to be part of this whole new OCP for you. So what's the OCP all about? The new official community plan, or OCP, for electoral areas L and P will cover all of that area that is shown on the map on your screen. It is a large area. However, judging from the resident survey responses, there are many common issues throughout the new plan area. This new OCP will replace the 30-year-old Kamloops North, Kamloops South, and South Thompson Valley Pinnetan OCPs, along with the 25-year-old South Thompson Settlement Strategy. Over the years, the OCP and strategy documents only covered select areas within the 2 electoral areas. The new plan area will cover areas not previously covered by an OCP, including areas like Black Pines, Lightcroft, Turtle Valley, Monty Lake, Roche Lake, and Westwold. So this brings us to a short history of long-range planning in your communities. The first TNRD regional plan was approved by the board in 1979. This plan would be the equivalent of the current regional growth strategy. From this plan emanated the first localized community plans in select populated areas. In the early 1980s, legislation at the time referred to the first long-range plans as official settlement plans, or OSPs. For your area, the South Thompson Valley OSP was adopted in 1983, which covered the South Thompson Valley, Pinnetan, and Paul Lake areas. Kamloops South OSP came next in 1986, and this covered the Knutsford, Beresford, Rose Hill area. The Kamloops North OSP was adopted in 1987 and covered the Heffley Creek Valley, Knuff Lake, and Badger Lake areas. Since this time, the legislation changed to rename the long-range plans to official community plans, OCPs. Although minor changes have been made, the noted plans were last fully written in 1995. The OCPs have remained virtually the same ever since. In 2002, the board adopted the South Thompson Settlement Strategy as a more detailed growth strategy for the South Thompson River's watershed. This was adopted in response to an anticipated growth rate of 1.5% each year for the next 20 years in the South Thompson Valley. This plan identifies land use policies that we may borrow from to develop the new OCP for today. So what is an OCP? We're not exactly sure how the term official came to be part of the title, as these documents aren't given royal assent or federal Senate approval. I'm guessing that the term sounded good or official at the time the term was stuck over the years. It is a high-level document that is intended to provide general guidance to the public. It is not a how-to development guide for any given community. The formal OCP definition states that an OCP is a long-term vision statement for land use management, development, and servicing for a given area. It guides planning for the future of a community or given area through what residents believe are their priorities. The OCP document informs decisions regarding the support or non-support for development and land use changes. It also helps form staff responses to referrals from different levels of government, First Nations, and private developers. An OCP helps implement other long-range plans, including the Fringe Area Policy Paper or Lakeshore Development Guidelines, for example. The general content framework for any OCP in British Columbia is mandated by the Local Government Act and Community Charter. There are mandatory items that must be included in every OCP developed in BC, including housing needs for at least 20 years, approximate location, amount, and type of present and proposed commercial, industrial, institutional, agricultural, recreational, and public utility land uses, hazard and environmentally sensitive lands, and approximate location and phasing of any major road, sewer, and water systems. So what's the purpose of an official community plan? Well, firstly, OCPs are written to reflect a community's long-range goals and objectives for a 5-year lifespan. As noted earlier, your OCPs have not been fully rewritten in about 30 years. Despite their age, they have been effective in the long-range planning objectives for their given areas. A lot has changed over the years, and now the purpose is to update and refresh the identity of acceptable land uses in each new OCP area. The board felt that it was time to establish new policies with respect to development and servicing, like affordable housing, water and sewers disposal standards, for example. It is time to establish a new vision for land use decisions for private property owners and the public. And lastly, it is time to promote a renewed direction for land use decision-making for a changing demographic, changing climate, and changing environment. So what are you going to find in the new OCP? A new community vision statement will be established for the expanded OCP area, along with the required tnrd regional growth strategy context statement. Other changes will include histories and geographies for the places to which you live, work, and play will be expanded upon. New objectives and policies will be established for residential, commercial, industrial, recreational, and institutional land uses. New map designations for proposed land use strategies will also be developed. New environmentally sensitive and hazard land use policies will be considered in future land use decisions. And policies for infrastructure like water and sewer, utilities, emergency preparedness, greenhouse gas reduction, climate change, and transportation networks will also be developed. So people have often asked, what's the difference between an OCP bylaw and a zoning bylaw? The goals and objectives of an OCP are described through OCP policies. Preferred and non-preferred land use policies are identified in the OCP and implemented via zoning bylaw regulations. For example, if it is the community's goal to protect agricultural land south of Chase, then policies for this area will not include expansion of commercial and industrial uses into these areas. On the other hand, if an OCP goal is to have smaller rural parcels in the Rivershore area, for example, then policies for the Rivershore settlement area will include advocacy support for smaller parcels, likely with more advanced site services. Zoning would enable via permitted uses, building location, etc. All told, the OCP identifies supported general land uses, while the zoning bylaw regulates these uses with more detailed site regulations like setbacks, density, and building heights. The key to the success of every OCP is public engagement and consultation with a broad range of groups. Listening to residents' issues and concerns will build strong relationships, build community understanding of land use planning, and create an area-specific vision. Consultation will build a better document for everyone. In recognition of the need for a renewed plan area vision, the Board of Directors authorized staff to commence OCP work in March of 2024. The OCP process started with a community survey to which all residents were given the summer months to complete. If you did not complete a survey and still wish to express your ideas before the end of the year, then please email us at ocp@tnrd.ca for survey assistance. We can direct you to the website or have a paper copy sent to you in the mail. Survey summaries will be available upon completion of the survey process, likely sometime in the new year. Over the coming months, we will be meeting with other government, non-government, and community groups, including First Nations and high school students, to discuss specific issues related to the OCP. The formal survey process for prizes wrapped up at the end of August 2024. However, we will continue to receive completed survey responses until the end of the year. Public comments are welcomed anytime up until the OCP bylaws future public hearing. Over the coming months, we will analyze all the survey responses, meeting notes, and with additional technical research, and commence writing the new OCP draft over the winter. Ideally, we'd like to have a draft ready for public review in early 2025, with follow-up community meetings in May 2025. The summer and fall will be spent making any adjustments from the follow-up meetings, with an OCP bylaw ready for the board review later in 2025, early 2026. In closing, Planning Services would like to thank you for your interest and input into your new official community plan. As I noted earlier, public commentary is welcome at any time, right up until including the OCP's required public hearing. If you have any questions about the OCP or this presentation, then please call 250-377-8673 or email me at ocp@tnrd.ca. I will now return the session back to Amy for more background.
Thank you so much, Dan. And as Dan has mentioned, we've had our survey open now throughout the summer and beyond. And through that survey, we've heard tons of great feedback. Some key areas of concern and opportunity have become very clear. So from that feedback, we've created 4 different topic areas that we've taken to our in-person sessions and asked folks for more feedback on. That first topic area is visioning. So as Dan had mentioned, that vision and goals, they're really an important part of an official community plan. They help capture the top priorities for a community and guide policy development throughout the document. So some questions for you to think about and give us feedback on are, what are your top priorities for your community? How are you connected to other members of your community? So maybe where you go, activities that you take part in. What makes your community home and what keeps you here? Our next key topic area that we've received lots of feedback on is housing. So our online survey results indicated that there is both a need for different types of housing and more affordable housing, while also keeping a rural atmosphere. So what we want to hear from you on is there a way to support more housing types while still maintaining that rural atmosphere that brought you to your community? Would you support smaller lot sizes in your area? So maybe you're living somewhere where the parcel sizes are larger. So we're looking at, or we're discussing sort of 2 to 2.5 acres when we say smaller lot sizes. What minimum larger parcel size do you want to see in your area to maintain agricultural activities? And how do you feel about short-term rentals in your community? Our third topic area is amenities. So our survey results indicated that there's a gap in amenities in many different communities, such as healthcare, fire response, water quality, road maintenance, family-friendly amenities and activities, and others throughout the region. We want to hear from you on what amenities and services are missing or do you wish were more accessible in your area? So thinking about things like parks, gathering spaces, schools, healthcare, public transportation. How do you feel about having more businesses or commercial activity throughout your community, if that's something that isn't already available? What kind of commercial activities would you support in your area, or would you like to see more of? And do you want to see more recreational uses, such as campgrounds, resorts, seasonal uses, that sort of thing in your area? And our fourth area that we've heard a lot of feedback on is environmental. So our survey results indicated that people care about protecting environmentally sensitive lands and that there's a concern around forest fires, environmental pollution, and water quality. Through visiting all these different communities, we have been able to get a beat on some of the uniqueness of different areas and different insight into the environmental concerns for those certain areas. So we want to know from you, what are your environmental concerns for your area? What areas are important to protect? What can be done to protect you and your neighbors from the risk of wildfire? And do you support having policies in place to promote fire smarting? And so these questions are just a few questions in addition to the questions that we have on our survey. As Dan mentioned, that survey will be available until the end of the year. But in addition to that, we do appreciate you emailing your comments and your answers to these questions directly to OCP at tnrd.ca. You can go online, you can get our survey at www.tnrd.ca. And all the feedback we've received from our different events, our survey, our email submissions, phone calls to Dan, they're all going to be compiled into a What We Heard report. So in the new year, we'll be making that report public, and we'd love your feedback on that report, whether we missed anything, if there's any key pieces that you want to see added in there. As Dan mentioned, these survey results, all this feedback really is foundational for us to draft this document so that it really reflects the communities that you live in or you want to see grow into over the next 5 to 10 years. So keep in touch with us. You can also sign up for the TNRD email list online. And we really appreciate you tuning in today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much.